This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Pressure is increasing on the state government tonight with renewed calls for improved access to surgical abortions in the public system following the Irish referendum. While the state government says it's working to secure a low-cost provider within the state health service, representatives say it needs to be an urgent priority.
It's Ireland's historical referendum to relax abortion laws that's seen renewed calls to the state government to improve access to surgical terminations. The state's only public clinic closed its doors last December.
There is no way that a government that wanted to resolve this issue would have it still outstanding 5 months later.
Women can now access the procedure through a private clinic or use the state government's travel assistance scheme to undergo it interstate.
Services like ours are helping patch together a network of support and of providers, but what we need is a clear pathway through for women.
We would prefer to see better support for this procedure in the public hospital system. I understand the government is working on a range of different solutions that might actually look at bringing that expertise into the state.
The state government is currently working with a provider to look at possibly setting up a low-cost abortion service within Tasmania. Those discussions are ongoing between the Department of Health and the provider.
Health service representatives say while the government's making progress on addressing these calls, there needs to be a heightened sense of urgency and a stronger focus on women in regional areas who may not be able to travel.
I'm not going to preempt what the time frame might be on that service provision.
It really needs to happen now so that women are able to access this option to improve their lives.
Women can access support through family planning, Women's Health, Pulse Health Clinic or The Link. Meanwhile, concerns aired yesterday by the Derwent Valley Mayor, including that members of his community will be missing out on federal flood assistance because of means testing, were today dismissed by the government.
This service is available for those people that are most in need. We recognise that floods have impacted a lot of people, and I also encourage Tasmanians to consider having the appropriate insurance for their properties to be able to cope with times of natural disaster.
People with over $35,000 worth of assets are currently not able to access the grant. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Several homes in Mount Nelson were left without power today after a car collided with a power pole on Nelson Road around 9:30 last night. Witnesses say the male driver escaped shaken but uninjured.
So yeah, it was pretty shocking coming out and to see car sideways across the road and our car in the flower beds. I'm just glad nothing happened to him. He seemed to be okay.
Yes, obviously it's a quiet neighbourhood, and we just initially thought the power had gone out, but the nature of the bang that we heard said that there's probably been more than that happened.
We kind of heard a sliding sound and this almighty bang, and then there's this enormous flash, as the lines went out.
Police are continuing to investigate what caused the crash. Crews have worked throughout the night to place a steel box underground as part of a bold installation for Mona's Dark Mofo Festival. Controversial artist Mike Parr will be sealed under Hobart's Macquarie Street for 72 hours. It's understood to be the first time the daring feat will be attempted.
Well, it's not a very big space, so he won't be doing much. He's got a small, simple bed. He'll be reading. I think he has the Fatal Shore with him. A sketchbook and meditation.
The public will be able to see what's going on. The artist will be put in and will reseal the road. After that, the road will very much be fully functioning as it is behind me. And there won't be anything to see, but there'll be a great deal to think about.
Mike Parr will go to the ground on the evening of June the 14th. Hobart volunteers braved the cold this morning, undertaking a community clean-up along the Cornelian Bay foreshore. The Bush Care program meeting regularly to keep this popular area clean. The group today featuring extra helpers due to the recent floods.
It's our sort of spot that we looked after, that we take care of, and we're trying to get it back to what it was. Yeah, it's good to see some extra people here. There's normally only 4 or 5 of us, so we should get a lot done today.
The group is coordinated by the Hobart City Council. A Tasmanian archery champion is gearing up to fly to Europe this week to compete against other world-class athletes. The Hobart-based paraplegic has spent years training for the world stage and says he aims to inspire others in a similar position.
Kevin Faulkner's shooting for the stars, getting in last-minute training before the European Carp Para-Archery Championships.
I'm totally addicted to it. I absolutely love being out here shooting arrows. He's down here training no matter what the weather. He's just really tenacious at what he's doing.
The event, held in Italy, will see para-athletes converge from Europe and the Middle East. Our team of Aussies keen to soak up the atmosphere.
We're using it as getting experience for next year's World Championships in Holland. The ability to be able to do the same thing time after time and have the same result is extremely difficult, and it's very technical.
This fiercely dedicated athlete has committed his life to sport after an incident in Sydney 33 years ago left him confined to a wheelchair.
It's given me a goal, a passion in life, and opportunities to represent my country.
Now working to inspire others.
So hopefully, kids who have a disability see me doing the sport and then think, oh, I can go and do that, so they'll come along too. So yeah, it's also being out there letting people know what you can do other than what you can't do.
And Kevin's ultimate aim, to represent Australia in Tokyo 2020.
To be able to call myself a Paralympian, it's something that I've been striving for the last 20 odd years, and it's an itch, and that's what it's all about.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
3 Tasmanians have taken out titles at this year's Australian Community Cricket Awards, including Jason Schmidt, who was announced Volunteer of the Year at the Melbourne event on Thursday evening. The cricket lover runs programs across the state, getting people with varying disabilities playing the sport.
To get as many people involved as possible, as many people with a disability involved. It doesn't matter your disability, because we don't look at that, we look at your ability. And we just want everybody to enjoy the game.
Jason is currently working on a new program for wheelchair cricket. Thousands of Tasmanians have celebrated a traditional cracker night with bright fireworks displays brightening the sky at private parties across the state. Bonfires were lit to warm the crowds at more than 500 gatherings that had requested Type 2 fireworks permits. Nearly 200 people dressed up in teal in Hobart today for High Tea for Hope, raising money and awareness for ovarian cancer. 4 women are diagnosed with the disease every day in Australia.
Ovarian cancer rates are pretty static, so over the last 20 years things haven't really changed in terms of the incidence and the prevalence.
Ovarian cancer and also gynecological cancers don't get any mention really in the media, and it's time to spread the word and get it out there and do what we can to raise awareness for the signs and the symptoms.
1 in 8 women will get breast cancer, only 1 in 100 women will get ovarian cancer, so it's rare. So it is hard to raise the profile and it is hard to raise awareness, but hopefully that's what days like today will do.
Today's event has raised $15,000 for Ovarian Cancer Australia.
Also in Monaco, Tasmania's Alex Peroni has had the biggest win of his Formula Renault career so far. Peroni leading from start to finish in last night's race.
Proudly broadcasting his Tasmanian sponsors to the world, Alex Peroni lined up on pole position. The Monaco street circuit about to become his Formula Renault launching pad.
Peroni gets off to a terrific start.
Quick off the line, Peroni only extended his lead on the glamorous track. The narrow circuit a nightmare for those in the main field, but the teenager enjoyed a champagne run unrivalled in the lead.
So the 18-year-old Tasmanian leading the way.
The gap proved to be invaluable as second and third jostled over expensive real estate, nearly running each other off the road. Peroni methodically wound down the 18 laps to win with a 4-second lead.
He's the street king. He takes the checkered flag and wins here in Monaco.
The victory lap, a moment to savour. Peroni's first win of this Euro Cup season, enough to leap over the marshals to celebrate with his team. Then the silverware. Peroni will attempt to back up his win in race 2 later tonight. Delorain's Daniel Gurr has become Australia's first timber sports rookie world champion. The 21-year-old battled out 4 disciplines and smashed his personal best in the underhand chop to take victory. Gurr had been battling illness in the lead up to these titles in France.
Yeah, it feels good. I've put a lot of work into this, and you only get one shot at this rookie championship, so yeah, I'm just wrapped.
And Hobart's Jake French has been part of Australia's world-beating under-20s futsal team. the goalkeeper enjoying the 5-3 win in last night's final against Catalonia in Spain.
Back home now in the NPL, South Hobart has shown what it's capable of after jumping Hobart Zebras to a 5-2 win. South went 2 goals up within the opening 10 minutes of play in its dominant day out at Darcy Street. Elsewhere, Olympia Warriors made the most of its chances in front of goal to beat Northern Rangers 3-0. The Warriors converting 3 of its 5 shots on goal. Launceston City remains at the top of the table after a 5-1 win over Kingborough, and the biggest win of the round went to Devonport in a 5-0 demolition of Clarence. 2 goals were scored in the opening 5 minutes of the one-sided clash. The Northwest Thunder has suffered a big loss at the hands of the Ballarat Miners. Ben Richmond and Trey Armstrong top scoring for the Thunder with 16 points each. In better news from last night, the Launceston Tornadoes came out on top in a nail-biter at Elphin. The heart-stopping 1-point victory is the side's 5th win in a row.
A tit-for-tat contest from 2 inseparable sides. The lead never exceeded 5 points between the pair. But the Tornadoes reaped the rewards from this tense game of attrition. Ballarat played at its best early on, with its biggest lead coming at the first break.
10 seconds left to go. Look at the clock and take the shot. Take the shot.
But another strong performance from Ali Wilson clawed the contest back in the home side's favour, while Lauren Nicholson assumed the captain's role with gusto, netting 18 points as the injured Lauren Mansfield watched on. The under-strength Tawns outfit fought valiantly, keeping its nose in front until the final buzzer to win by the narrowest of margins. It was showtime for the Thunder in Ulverston. Darcy Malone turning on the theatrics for the local crowd, while Jeremiah Ingram once again made his presence felt. But the Miners chipped away on the scoreboard, the talented side putting the game out of reach for the Thunder in the last period. The 14-point loss means the Thunder are now 5 wins and 5 losses at the halfway mark of the season.
Good evening. A fine and partly cloudy day across the state today. Hobart just a top of 11, 17 in Launceston. Burnie reached 14 while Devonport reached 15 degrees. The state's top was 19 recorded at King Island, Flinders and Strawn 18, Smithton and the Friendly Beaches 16, Cressy and Campania 15, Lyweenie -6 overnight up to 12 today, Ooze the range from -3 to just a high of 6 degrees. On the close-up, low cloud sitting over the northwest with just some patchy high cloud elsewhere. A band of middle and high level cloud can be seen approaching Tasmania from the west and blanketing much of South Australia, Victoria and New South Wales today. On to tomorrow, and a low is marching across the bight towards Tasmania and extending a cold front over South Australia. Separate ridges of high pressure lie over eastern and western parts of the mainland. Coastal waters and north to northeasterly winds at 10 to 20 knots, reaching 25 knots about the west. Swells below a metre in the north, but up to 2.5 metres elsewhere. And with that, there is a strong wind warning from Low Rocky Point to Sandy Cape. The forecast now, and some rain to start the working week. Hobart 18, Dover 17, Ooze 15. Launceston rain at times 17, Devonport a top of 16, and a 40% chance of rain for Scottsdale 16 there also. Rain for Burnie and Stanley tomorrow 16, rain at times for Strawn. A cloudy day for St Helens 18, rain at times for Swansea 18. Also, Ross looking at a top of 16 degrees. As we look ahead to Tuesday, and the forecast doesn't change much. Rain in the west extending statewide in the afternoon. Showers in the west on Wednesday before extending statewide during the afternoon also. And finally Thursday, showers for the west, south and lower east, but easing during the afternoon. Capital cities and a possible shower for Perth tomorrow 19, Brisbane 23, Sydney cloudy and 21, showers increasing for Adelaide 21 also, and a cloudy day for Melbourne, a top of 19 degrees. And it's clear right now in Hobart and 8, Launceston partly cloudy and 11, Devonport mostly cloudy and 11. Rach, that wakes up Sunday's weather.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Laura. Well, that's all your news for now for this Sunday, the 27th of May. Thanks for your company from the entire Southern Cross News team. Have a great week. Good night.